Welcome to Keith's Broken Boats and other stuff. Thanks for watching.
Okay, today I'm going to be servicing this Soul diesel engine in the Avon Navigation Trust train barge. I've got the filters for it. I've got my oil extraction tool, pulling the oil out of the sump. Obviously you can't get underneath it. There's no hole in the bottom of a boat to drain the oil out of. And so I'm just warming it up now. Get the engine oil nice and warm so I can suck it out the dipstick hole nice and easily. So there you go, it's ticking over nicely. Something you always need to check is that you've got water coming out. Obviously this engine works on a heat exchanger system, a bit similar to other boats and Trust run. The engine has its own cooling jacket, and all that big lump there with Soul written on the top, Soul diesel written on the top of it, is a heat exchanger that raw water is pumped through, which acts like the radiator on your car. So I'll just let it warm up for a little bit and then I'll make a start.
Okay, I've had the engine running for a bit now. It's all nice and warm, so the oil will be nice and thin to come out. Is the oil filter that's got to be changed. I can feel that that's nice and warm. It's quite tight, I need a wrench on that. And I've set up my siphon, oil siphon pump. And what that does is if I pump on this handle, with it set to suck, what it does is, it sucks the oil up that pipe, down round into this vessel. Now each one of these ribs on this vessel is a litre. So we'll actually be able to measure how much oil comes out, which will help me carrying oil back in, because I have to get in and out that small hatch up there with it. So I don't want to be bringing loads of oil in to only use half of it. And that pipe there goes down, I don't know if you can see, there, into the dipstick hole. And what that's done is that this pipe here now goes down onto the bottom of the sump, and it's sucking all the oil out right from the bottom of the sump up through that pipe into my vessel. And there you go, you can see it's starting to come in now. So you just give it a pump, creates a vacuum, and then that's pulling the oil out. And I'll get a filter wrench on this now. Unfortunately, with these inverted filters, they always make a mess, so I'm going to have to get a spill mat and put underneath there to catch that. And then they've got a sediment filter down there, which I've got to change. That fuel filter, and then obviously put the oil back in the top, check the coolant, and go from there. Now these inverted filters, when you undo them, because there's oil in them, they always make a mess. So I've got a plastic tray underneath the oil filter. So when I undo it, hopefully it won't make a mess. So if I just position this, so you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to go for my first. Oil's nearly out. Near the siphon bubbling. My chosen tool for oil filters tends to be these big pipe grips. I have got a filter wrench in here, but that is just normally just enough to do what I need to do. And I have got a container here to drop it straight into, and I'm going to put this spill mat down as well to hopefully absorb anything that I spill, because it will spill out. And as you undo it, there's the oil running out the filter into the plastic tray. Open the filter quickly, put it in there. I'm going to get that spill mat and absorb some of this oil that's in there to stop it all flooding everywhere. These are oil selective spill mats. So if you spill oil in water, you can chuck this on top of it and it will soak the oil up, but it won't soak up the water. So it's just soaking up oil. So if I just give all this a nice wipe around, just to pick up what's dripping out. I remove the plastic tray and into there. I have had a little bit of spillage, but it is minimal. So inverted oil filters, I really don't like them. If it was a standard one, you can put a plastic bag around it and catch the oil in the plastic bag as it undoes. But anyway, I've got a new oil filter. Get my new oil filter. I like oil filters that come with a bit of cellophane over the top, because then you know there's been no debris get in there. I'm going to get a little bit of grease. Just a little dib on the end of my finger. And I'm just going to wipe it around that seal. What that does is that seal, if you put that on dry, it bites into this plate here, into where it seals on there. It makes it really, really hard to undo in the future. So just gonna spin that on now until it bites, and then just by hand, just a good nip, and we're away. And that's the oil filter changed. Now I've got virtually all the oil out of it as well, so I can go and fetch some oil and we'll be away. Okay, we've done the oil filter. Now what we're going to do is the fuel filter, and that's in here. Hold on, well, the starter bit's in here. Alright, got some more light, and along here somewhere there should be, there it is, there's the isolation valve. If I can get a bit closer, there's the isolation valve on the back of the tank. So we're going to shut that first. So that's that tap shut. That's the fuel pipe that runs along down into the first filter, which is there. So we're going to change that. Quite an easy filter to change. Just a case of slacking that off on the top. This bottom bit here comes off. And you can change that filter, tighten that back up, and then when I bleed it, it'll pull the fuel back through it. Okay, I put a jug underneath it to catch some fuel. I'm just going to undo this nut. I'm having to do this one-handed, so it's a little bit awkward. I'm hoping that the seals will hold it together. I'm going to slide that bolt out, put that up there out the way. Now, just give that a tweak, and there we have the diesel coming out the bottom of it into that jug. Pop that off of there. You can see there's a bit of gunk in it. I'll have a quick look at the fuel that's in the bottom of the jug. Let me just put that on a mat. My spill mat, put that on there. Okay then. This part here is what catches all the sediment, and that in there is pretty clean. And the diesel that's come out of it's pretty clean as well, so we've got no worries in the tank. I'm going to put it back together. Okay, you've got a few rubbers in here. You've got this top sealing rubber there. That's that one. We'll discard that because I've got a bag here with new ones in. And underneath the filter, you've got another rubber under there, that rubber O-ring. That seals inside this here. And I'll change those. Like I said, I've got them all in the pack. I've got top and bottom seal for the filter. I've got a new rubber O-ring to go inside, and then that little tiny O-ring there goes on the back of the bolt there to seal the top of the filter. So I'll change all those and then slap it back together. There we go, so I've got the filter on, so there's the bottom bit. That's sediment trap, that's the filter. That's the thing, it's got all new seals in, and then that 11mm bolt on the top just wants a nip. Nothing massive, just enough to seal it. And that's the primary fuel filter. And that fuel filter is not just the primary fuel filter for that engine, but it's also plumbed in through some pipe work down here and feeds the hydropack engine for the crane, and also comes down here to a generator which I'm sat on. So that's the primary filter for 3 engines. And now that's done, I've got that filter to change on the Soul diesel engine, and I'll do that one in a minute. Okay, going to change this fuel filter now. So we've got some grips. Got to manage to wiggle these in just to give it a turn. And that's it, that's the turn. I haven't got much room to put anything underneath this, so I've got to just slip that spill mat in there to catch anything that's going to come out. So give that a spin. Off it comes, and then wriggle that out. I'm spilling a bit of fuel, but it's actually all going into that spill mat, so that's alright. Dispose that into my jug. Now the filter I've got is a slightly bit bigger in size than that, so what I'm going to have to do is pull that spill mat out of there, get a spanner that fits that, undo it, get my filter. Bit of oil on the gasket, on the seal, on the top. This actually helps it slide into place if you get a bit of oil on your rubber. So, a bit of oil on that rubber. Now I can lift that up, put that in there, and it's the wrong filter. Ah, deep joy. Put that back on for now. Put that on loose. Okay, I'm going to service the gearbox, and you see this little brass plug here, that's got a dipstick on the bottom of it. So that is where I'm going to be checking the oil, but I'm also going to suck the oil out of there with my oil sucker. Save me getting a tub underneath the gearbox and trying to drain it all out. So I'll just crack that out and then I'll set it all up and show you. Okay, I've took that dipstick out and just an adjustable spanner, cracked it off. Just dropping it. That's it there, dipstick. And I have set up my oil sucker in that hole, coming round into the old oil sucker, and now I shall suck the oil out of it. Right, just pump it up, and there you go, you can see the oil coming up the pipe. Again, I've had it running, so it's all still warm, and then that'll suck that down into my reservoir, and then all I've got to do is top it all up once it's empty. Away we go. Right, just got to pour some oil in this engine. This is just a 1540 diesel engine oil going in this engine. It's mineral based. Just topping it up. I've already put some in. This is just the final top up to get it just above the top mark on the dipstick. And the dipstick out. There it is. It's just there at the moment. I want to get it to about there, and then that will be taken up by what's in the filter. Then it should be on the top mark and it's all done. I'm going to just go a little bit more, probably about half a litre I expect. Oh dear, it's quite humid in here, it's making my nose run. I'll just give that a wipe. And there we have it, it's just to there on the dipstick. When I start that up, it'll drop down to there once it's filled the oil filter. Job's a sausage. So that's the engine oil in. Carry on pumping on the old gearbox oil. Gearbox uses the same oil as the engine, so I'll save that bit that's in there, a couple of litres. I've got 2 litres out at the moment, probably need a bit more than that in there. The oil that's coming out actually looks pretty clean, but I'm going to change it anyway. I think the engine and gearbox has done, I think it's about 890 hours from brand new, so it hasn't really done a lot. And catch you on the flip. Okay, just got a bit more oil to try and get in this gearbox. It's a bit fiddly, it's not an easy pour, so just trying to dribble it in there if I can. Lucky it's only a few litres and not bloody 10 gallon. Be here all day. Just dribbling it in that dipstick hole. Pouring it in. I'll just check it at that now. Let's see where we are. This engine room's actually quite a nice space to work in. I've got a workbench with a vice up there. Not many boat engine rooms have got this much space in them. It's quite good. It houses a little generator as well, that's due a service as well. So just see where the oil is on this dipstick if we're anywhere near. It must be hay fever. It is on the stick. It's there, it's on the bottom of the stick. I just need to put a bit more in it to get it in between the 2 marks. We'll be away, so probably what's left in this jug. Hopefully that should be it. Drop that back in there. It's dripping from there in between, so that tells me you can't really see the clean oil is so clean. It just looks like it's not on there, but if you hold the dipstick on its side, you can see it dripping from, it's dripping from that mark there, so that I know that that now is topped up. So we're away. Gearbox done. That wasn't too painful, was it? Just screw the dipstick in, back in now. Get me adjustable spanner and give her a little nip. It is only a little nip. It doesn't have to seal a massive pressure or anything. That is literally it. Oh dear. Oh, willow pollen. Lovely. And that's it. That's all the oils. Engine oil, gearbox oil done. So this can go away. And we'll take that back out. And I'll start getting some stuff out. And we'll think about giving it a kick in the guts. And just after we've had it running for a little bit, check the oil. I can see there, that's bang on. Engine done. Now this is right in the back of Canopus up here now, look. There's the fuel tank, sat in the middle at the back. And if you look in the bottom of here, look, there's a welding rod where someone's been doing some repairs in here. All this is actually full of concrete. And all that concrete there, that is to give the boat ballast or to add weight to the back of the boat to make it more stable in the water. And those two are seacocks. They're both closed at the moment. And one of these, this seacock here, this is the raw water in for the engine cooling. And this seacock here, that's the raw water in for the generator cooling. There you go. But that's right in the back of it. If you have a look, just in there, look. That's the stern gland there that the prop shaft goes through. And then obviously the propeller is in the water underneath the hull at the back there. You've just got to love all these hatches and portholes. It almost gives it a bit of an old battleship feel, doesn't it? Okay, if you got that far, then well done. I'll give you a thumbs up. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Broke the 500 subscribers this week. Thank you very much if you subscribed. Okay, catch you on the next one. See you later. Bye.